Today I'm flying Turkish Airlines flagship business class on one of their longest routes, and well, it was poor. I have quite the colourful history with Turkish after my early review on their shocking handling of the pandemic, charging thousands of dollars and providing, well, a tragic premium product. Well, unfortunately, in line with the tragic theme today, I've spent thousands of dollars and received a freshly cooked steak dinner. Yes, this was the steak and potatoes I ordered. A total mess with boarding with zero organisation, a late departure, and everyone's seats changed last minute. But most shockingly, I was verbally abused on board in perhaps the worst way I've ever been spoken to, well, shouted at, whilst travelling. To ensure fairness, I booked this super last minute so they wouldn't know I'm coming, and on one of their most premium longest routes with their best hard product. This is going to be interesting, especially given the reaction from the die-hard Turkish fans last time. Welcome back, guys. I can't even put in half of what was said to me for sharing my honest review last time, but welcome to the world of unfiltered aviation reviews. So without any more to say, ladies and gentlemen, presenting the new Turkish Airlines business class experience. We'll pick up my journey over in Canada at Vancouver International Airport. Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to the channel. We're going to be flying, as you've seen from the title, Turkish Airlines. With the fact that I've got a bit of a history with them, I'm slightly apprehensive, but let's just see what happens. So let's head straight in now, check in and sort out all the formalities. Would you look at that? As soon as we go in through the front door, I'm met with Turkish Airlines and no real queue for business class. Let's find out what this is like.
Much later.
Right guys, all checked in. Goodness me, that was a bit of a rigmarole. As always with traveling at the moment, it's never without a surprise. There was a bunch of different things I had to complete in order to get checked in. And I wasn't alone. Obviously I'm relatively au fait and prepared for this, but of course I still had something that I didn't do, because basically I've got a connecting flight and that's in a couple of days time after arrival, but they needed all of my documents and substantiation for that, which I didn't foresee. Anyway, that is now all sorted. Now let's head over to security. The other thing that's interesting about today is the lounge situation. Now at the moment, actually, do you know what? Let's go through security first and I'll explain to you what the lounge situation is. We do have one, but it's with a bit of a twist. Right then, all through security, pretty quick to be honest. There's no separate channel for business class, but I've just used the domestic security because within Canada at the moment, much of the international operations are kind of still shut down. So it means that like there's no lounges open in the international section. So in order to go through and actually experience a lounge, I've come to the domestic section here, and I believe I can use the Air Canada lounge. Right, so down we go, and I've been directed that I've got to go past Lululemon, and on the right I should have the Air Canada lounge. Here we go. I'm good, how are you? God, I have to say, I'm really starting to change my mind about Air Canada. The AC Domestic Lounge actually offers quite a bit. There's some snacks that can be ordered from the bar, or instead just scan the QR code to order. Given my excitement to try TK's renowned onboard food today, I've actually just opted for a Diet Coke. The lounge is also a great vantage point for some plane spotting. Here's AC's 737 MAX 8, and of course their Dreamliner. I need to head over to D gates for my Turkish flight, because of course we're in the domestic side of the terminal here. A couple of things I saw on that board that I'm really looking forward to going to Istanbul. It's a really cool place, but I saw Honolulu on the list, and I've got some unfinished business in Honolulu, Hawaii. Oh, I need to get over there soon. I'm thinking, and this is only in the works of a kind of trying to work out the feasibility of flying ANA's A380 when they fly that over to Honolulu again from Japan. Now that will be a video. Well, here we go. I've made it over to the gate 71. Let's go and have a look closer at this beautiful plane, the Boeing 787. And so starts the bedlam. Scheduled boarding time comes and goes. After around 20 further minutes, I noticed they announced economy boarding, but not any mention of business class. There was no separate queue, just a mad rush. I guess so it begins. Right, well that was interesting. Let's go down the jet bridge and onto the 787. That was, yeah, a bit hectic, and basically to give you a bit of a perspective, the flight's going to be going in 10 minutes. It's obviously not, but there we go. And now for a quick word from today's video sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creators. Explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity. You can learn new skills ranging from marketing to editing in a simple format to help you retain as much knowledge as possible. Whether you're sneaking in a quick lesson on a break or learning an entirely new skill on an upcoming flight, most Skillshare classes are under 60 minutes, so you can learn efficiently. Right now, I'm taking a course on cinematography to help improve my filming skill set. Yes, I actually film all my B-roll right on my iPhone. In fact, did you know I'm entirely self-taught with editing, and using Skillshare allows me to learn new skills within this space, such as the art of storytelling. I like that you can read reviews so you know which class suits you best. So join the millions of other curious learners and discover thousands of classes on a wide variety of topics. And what's more, if you're one of the first 1,000 people to click the link in the top of the description, you'll get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Let's go and get on board. Oh. Yeah, unfortunately boarding was still not ready, so we all got the pleasure of hanging out in the jet bridge for 15 more minutes. I did get a hygiene kit though. Getting on board, I'm welcomed rather frostily and shown over to the right hand aisle of business class. As I begin to place my bag in the overhead bin, I double check my boarding pass. To my shock, I note I've been moved since selecting my seat earlier this morning. I look around and realise there's a commotion in the rest of the cabin. This has happened to everyone. Couples have been separated, families at different ends of the cabin. Can't really fathom how this has happened. There's been no equipment swap. Begrudgingly, I settle into the middle row for this near 13-hour flight. The FAs were great though, saying once boarding was complete, they'll attempt to rectify the issue. Thankfully, after boarding was indeed complete, I was moved over to 8 Alpha. Not my first choice being by the galley, but hey, I'm happy to have a window seat and not stuck in the middle with a rando. It was at this point I experienced perhaps the worst treatment I've ever had in any public scenario. Introducing the Turkish Airlines ground manager. They shout at me whilst hurrying over. Hey, you cannot sit here. What do you think you're doing? Move now! Cabin crew just relocated me. It's okay. I don't care who told you. Move now. Oi, you, move now. I'm left, honestly, quite taken aback. I was being fully shouted at, as if I'd snuck on board the plane. The cabin crew rushed over, apologising to me and explaining to her. She pushes past them and over to 1 kilo, presumably to have a go at another passenger. A bunch of other passengers come over to me, asking if I was okay. Now I'm used to the YouTube comment section, so I'm used to having abuse hurled at me, but this was quite unexpected. After marching back from 1 kilo, she pushes back past my seat. So I ask for an apology. I'm palmed off with a quick, sorry, I'm in a rush. Wow. So it seems Turkish Airlines need to do something about their ground crew. This is not acceptable. Right, with quite a sour taste in my mouth right now, let's get on with the review. We begin to push off stand and the safety video is screened. My initial impressions of the hard product are good, compared to their dated 777s and A330 products. So I'm excited to see they have cameras installed on the plane exterior. Wish more airlines did this, as it's cool to watch takeoff from a different perspective. We head over to the runway and finally lift off into the Canadian sunset, a good 45 minutes late. Flight time today will be around 12 hours, covering a distance of nearly 10,000 kilometers. Now, there's been no pre-departure drink and I'm incredibly thirsty. Thankfully, as we reach altitude, a bottle of water is finally distributed, along with menu cards and a Versace amenity kit. I ordered dinner, but had quite a bit of confusion when I ordered my drink. I went for their signature drink, it's like a lemonade, but they had zero idea what I meant. My dinner was promptly served. Everything feels like it's going a million miles an hour, and given we have a super long haul flight and not a 6-hour transatlantic red-eye, it doesn't really fit the ultra long haul nature of this flight. I'm happy to see that metal cutlery is used once again, but I'm disappointed with the cheap paper napkin and the levels of plastic used here. There's also nowhere for this plastic detritus to go once you unsheath your starter. The chicken quinoa starter was okay, albeit the chicken was quite dry. The meze though, wow, this is something I can get behind. Unfortunately, I was harassed over and over again, asking when I'd finished my starter. I think it's pretty clear when you're finished, but anyway, they just kept on at me. Now, I'm not a slow eater by any means, but this felt like I was on the clock. Right, okay, now I'm actually done, it's time for my main. I ordered the steak and potatoes. Now, I'm never expecting a Mayfair style steakhouse, but what I got was, well, this. I still to this day have no idea what I was served, and this is a huge disappointment. I know for one thing, it was not steak. It looked foul, but I was starved at this point. This is not the 5-star dining Turkish likes to shout about. Side note, I found this entertaining. Dessert came in the form of an apple crumble. It was tasty enough, but of economy standard. And there we have it. My plate was cleaned promptly, and the lights were turned down fully in the cabin. I guess the hint is go to bed. So let's head to the loo for a review. There are 2 loos located in the rear of the business class cabin, though I noticed quite a few passengers from economy using them frequently. They were relatively clean and featured molten brown amenities, along with a reed diffuser. Overall, a solid offering. Right, I make it bedtime. Well, I don't really have a choice. Let's get that seat flat and turn it into a bed. Turkish provide this wonderful throw, kind of similar to Qatar's, but sadly the mattress topper and pillow lets it down. Getting into bed, it's quite tight, but that's down to the design of the seat. So I'm a side sleeper, but thankfully I was able to do this quite comfortably this evening. I nodded off for a good number of hours to be awoken not far out of Istanbul. I promptly made the bed back up into a seat and ordered a fresh Turkish coffee along with some Turkish delight as a morning sharpener. This was fabulous. As we come into land into Istanbul, I'd like to summarise my experience. Let's start out by saying Turkish still has a long way to go. The food experience today was subpar and the service felt rushed and impersonal. Pre-departure, the way I was spoken to was inexcusable, and the seating mess was unfortunate. Given that the cost of this ticket runs into multiple thousands of pounds, I simply can't recommend Turkish business class for a long-haul flight at this price point. Hopefully as time goes on, they'll return to the glory days, but let's not forget that most of their fleet are based on the ageing 777s and A330s with a 232 and 222 configurations respectively. Anyway, I pass the question off to you. I welcome your input. What's your experience of Turkish and what do you think of my experience today? Let me know down below.